Hello, hello, hello. I'm excited to be with you for this masterclass on emotions. I am your host and your fave life coach, the remix coach, Kendéll Lenice. I used to do a lot of the master classes and workshop videos in person and online. I'm definitely going to get back to doing that. I hope y'all are having an amazing day thus far, whether you are watching live or the playback. I appreciate you. We're going to be talking about how to keep your emotions honest and intact. I think it's crucial that we do that. And a lot of people, and I have been one of those people who led from emotion, but you have to learn to keep them honest, right? To be honest to your emotions, keep them intact. So, emotions are powerful. They guide our decisions, they shape our relationships and influence how we see ourselves and others, right? But when emotions are unchecked, they can distort reality, cause regret, and damage relationships. And we're not talking about just intimate relationships. We're talking about family. We're talking about work relationships. We're talking about friendships, all of that. So keeping your emotions honest and intact means leaning to feel them fully without letting them take over. And that's the thing that a lot of people do. They allow their emotions to take over. And when your emotions take over, that's all that is seen, that is all that is fueled. I just want to make sure that we are live on Facebook as well as YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Okay, everything is good. All right, all right, all right. All right, so we're going to go through this. Y'all with me? Please share this out if you're watching it live or the playback. Definitely share this out. Let me make sure I put our banner up and we're going to get to the getting. Keeping your emotions honest and intact. All right, let's get into it. So, number one is to understand the emotions are messengers, not masters. So, you cannot allow your emotions to be your master. Your emotions are an indicator, not a dictator. They're signals that something needs your attention, not a green light without wisdom. Sometimes, as people, we react without wisdom. So, what you want to ask yourself is, what is this emotion trying to tell me? This emotion that I have, what is it trying to tell me? Let me give you an example. So, anger may point to a boundary, right? That has been crossed. Sadness may reveal something that needs healing. So, when we think of emotions, it's a trigger for something else. All right. So this is the thing. I want to remind you all that your emotions are your inner data. It's not necessarily your destiny, right? It's to provide information and instruction. Hey, what am I doing with these emotions, right? So, number one is understand that they are messengers, not your masters. Number two, practice emotional truth. We can't be lying to ourselves, y'all. We have to be able to be honest with our emotions. So be real about what you feel. If you're hurt, say you hurt. Like Yana used to say, call a thing, admit it, right? If you're jealous, face it. If you're tired, say it. Pretend to be okay when you're not you from not healing. Think about that. When you're pretending to be okay, we should be in a place where we're not pretending to be okay anymore. That's not what we're doing, people. We're not pretending to be okay because we're not okay. We're going to speak that we're not okay. Denial, let me say this, emotional honesty doesn't make you weak. It makes us self-aware and it makes us authentic. Emotional honesty. Men have emotional honesty. Women have emotional honesty. Women have emotional honesty. It's based on gender. Emotional honesty does be makes me self-aware, transparent, and authentic. Deny temporarily, oh, I'm good, I'm all right, I'm okay. But honestly, honesty will free you permanently. Honesty helps heal, right? So when you're pretending, most of the time you're pretending to someone else, you think, but you're really pretending to yourself. All right, number 3 is respond, don't react. Say respond and don't react. Reactions are impulsive, responses are intentional. So take a beat and be intentional about your response, not be impulsive about your reaction, right? Before you speak or act, pause long enough to let the emotions settle in your system, settle in your soul, and then allow the truth to rise up. So, this is what we do. We are going to let that settle in our spirit, right? And then we're going to allow the truth. We'll let the emotion settle in our spirit. And then we're going to counteract that with the truth as that begins to rise. So pretty much you're going to inhale the emotion and you're going to exhale the truth. So this is the thing. Ask yourself, will the response reflect my healing or my hurt? Will responding with my emotions reflect my healing or my hurt? Most of the time when you respond or react, I should say, it's reflecting your hurt, not your healing. When we just pop off, that reflects your hurt. It's not your healing. When you can pause and take a beat and you can realize what emotion is coming out, then your response will reflect your healing and not the hurt. But the problem is most people react and not respond because, again, responses are intentional, reactions are impulsive, right? All right, so this is the thing. As a life coach, meditation practitioner, always take 10 deep breaths before addressing emotional conflict, right? If it's emotional conflict that you're dealing with within, or you're speaking to someone on an emotional level, whether it's friends, family, in relationships, you have to take a beat and to be able to pause. Hey, hey. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. She jumping on here like, did you get them new edition tickets? Yes, I did. Absolutely. All right. So, also, if you need help with emotional responses, write out what you want to say before saying it. I do that. Like, I think about what I'm going to say before I say it, and that is my rhythm, right? I can't say it's always been my rhythm. And that's why I can teach you this, because not only am I a life coach and an expert in this master class, I'm also a person who would speak through emotion and not take a beat and just respond or react to what I'm feeling. But with wisdom, age, healing, all of that, it helps change the game when it comes to that. So we're going to write out what we say. We're going to think about what we say so we can intentionally respond and not react based off of that emotion at that said time. Pray before replying to emotional messages or texts. Pray like, God, I hope I'm saying this right. What should I do? I do that as well. Sometimes you got to pray. Sometimes you got to look at the text or look at it first to see, especially if you're emotional, right? If it's you're emotionally connected or tied to the person or situation. Because most of the time, if you're not, and even if you're not tied to them, the emotion of the person, place, or thing, and you feel like your feelings are hurt, or you feel like you were neglected, or you feel like you were overlooked, whatever that emotion is, it really is from the hurt. So that's why it's important to take a beat so you can, especially in a professional setting. I've cried at a job before. I know people who cry at jobs, right? Because sometimes that emotion is so overwhelming, right? So you got to take a beat. It's important to do that. Then you respond based off of what is necessary or what is needed. Got it? All right. Sorry about that. Next up is number 4. Keep emotional boundaries in place. You are responsible for your emotion, not anybody else's. Stop saying somebody made you do it or this person. No, you're responsible for your own emotions. And that's what people don't understand. That's what people don't get. It's easier to blame someone else. It's easier to say this person did this or this person made me. We all have a person in our lives or people in our lives from back then, from now, and we always will, where no one else should be able to control your emotions like a puppet. You should be in control of your emotions. I want to really stress that. You're responsible for your emotions, not everyone else's emotions either. So I'm not responsible for your emotions. You're not responsible for my emotions. We're responsible for our own emotions. It's okay to set limits with people who constantly drain your emotions. Guarding your heart doesn't mean closing it off, y'all, but it means filtering what gets in and what stays out. I'm going to tie a scripture into that. Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flow from it. So protect your emotional boundary. If somebody just want to keep picking at you, if somebody wants to taunt you, if somebody wants to disrespect you, if somebody wants to do whatever, and it makes you emotional, whether it's a parent, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a friend, you have to be able to protect your emotions, because oftentimes people will play on your emotions, especially if you acted um emotional before. So when some people have a reputation or an honesty about their emotions, some people will try to, like this, poke to get an emotion out of you. So then they could say, see, look at you. You're so emotional. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be in control of your emotions. Filter your feelings is number 5. Filter your feelings through faith, I'm going to add. So ask God to help you see situations through His truth, not your temporary emotion, because oftentimes emotions are temporary. Emotions shift, but God stands firm in the truth. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to pray. God, help me to feel this, but not be led by this, because you don't want to be closed off with your emotions. You don't want to be emotionally unavailable. You don't want to be the person who is like a robot and has no emotion. You don't want to be that person, right? You want to be able to be open to allow your emotions to flow through, but you want to keep them intact, and you want to be honest and honor your emotion. So if you got to say a prayer, God, help me feel this, but not be led by it. That's what I want to help people, not be led by their emotions. I was a person who would be led by her emotions, right? So, like, again, I'm not just teaching this. I had to make sure I was honest with my emotions, but keep my emotions intact. My emotions were all over the place because my brother stopped speaking to me, but I turned it over to God. That's what you have to do. And especially if you love somebody, some people will use it like a marionette. They will dangle and you be so emotional, right? Whether somebody, like you said, stops speaking to you, stops, disrespects you, ignores you, and to get a rise out of you. And oftentimes that does happen. And we have to be able to learn to give it to God, like you said. So The Philippians 4:6 says that, right? The peace of God, which transcends understanding, will guard your hearts and mind, right? Number 6, heal before you feel again. Many emotions outbursts come from unhealed pain. You know, my book is Excuse Me, Your Unhealed is Showing. Healing purposely and aging fearlessly, right? As we grow and as we heal. And a lot of people, the outbursts and all of that, it's coming from unhealed places. When people be like, oh, I'm healed, I'm straight. Nope, because that reaction shows that you have a little more work to do, right? Take the time to unpack old wounds so they don't control current reactions. So take the time to unpack old wounds so they don't control your current reactions. Therapy, coaching, journaling, spiritual counseling, those are tools to maintain your emotions. Unhealed emotions leak into new seasons. Unhealed emotions leak into new seasons if you're not careful. Definitely check out my book, Excuse Me, Your Unhealed is Showing, Healing Purposely and Aging Fearlessly. Check that out because it's important to be able to understand what your healing is doing, what your emotions are doing, and correct that. Because if you don't correct that, unfortunately, that comes up again and again and again. And you may not understand why, but it does. So it's important to be able to check that because you don't want it to check you. Okay. All right now. So number 7, be consistent in emotional check-in. Check in with yourself. Ask yourself daily, how am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? How am I feeling? And why am I feeling this? Don't wait for emotional explosions to do emotional maintenance. And some people wait for an emotional explosion and before they get to the healing and the understanding at that point, right? They wait until something blows up. Then now you're taking time to apologize to yourself, to God, to people, because you didn't check it when it was just a small bud, right? Um, Build a habit of self-reflection, prayer, and peace practices for yourself. These are not for other people, these are for you. This is a way to be honest with your emotions because we all have them, but we want to keep them intact because you don't want to ruin the relationship with yourself. You don't want to ruin a relationship with other people that you care about, whether it's at your job, your relationships intimately, your family, or your friends. You're going to build a habit of self reflection because you don't want anybody to tell you what your emotions are doing because you reacted and not responded. So this is the thing you can do daily. Start at the end of your day by checking in with your emotions. How am I feeling? You can do that through morning prayer, evening prayer, meditation, journaling, quiet time. It's important to be able to check in with yourself. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? And why am I feeling like this? And what is this emotion that's coming up? Because typically that's a place where healing starts to begin. When you respond in a way that is healthy, that's when you can see, okay, I'm healing, I'm growing up. But when you react and pop off, something's going on with those emotions. And that's a good place to start. Number 8 is remembering emotional honesty is a form of love, even to yourself. When you're honest about your emotions, you love yourself and you're able to love others better. You also create safety in relationships when people know your feelings are real and not masked. And sometimes when it's a minefield and you can't share your emotions or feelings with someone, you feel like you're wearing a mask because you don't want to step on the landmine, right? Because someone else may react opposed to respond. So you're hiding yourself and you're hiding your emotions on who you really are and what you're really feeling. So you create safety in relationships when people know your feelings are real and not masked. Because some people pretend, I'm good, I'm okay. You saying you good all the time when you're crumbling on the inside. The best way to connect with anybody is to be honest about what you're feeling, right? Taking the mask off. And in 2025, we can't be wearing no mask. We got to be able to reveal, and that's how we heal. That's how we heal ourselves and to be better. As long as you continuously wear a mask, you're going to stay stuck in that unhealed space. Also, remembering emotional honesty is a form of love in a way of building trust, authenticity, and a great connection. So I'm just going to cap all eights and we're going to be done with this. So this was all about our emotions being powerful, and our emotions often guide our decisions, shape our relationships, and influence how we see ourselves and others. Number one, on how to keep your emotions intact. Let's see. See this comment. All right now. Come alive in 2025. All right then. I see you, babe. All right. So number one was understand the emotions. Your emotions are messengers, not masters. Your emotions are indicators, not dictators. They're signals that something needs your attention. It's not a green light to react without wisdom. So again, ask yourself, what is my emotion trying to tell me? This is the thing. Emotions are data. It's not your destiny. They provide information, not instruction. And sometimes people react opposed to responding. Number two is practice emotional truth. Don't lie to yourself. Be real about what you feel. If you're hurt, admit it. If you're jealous, admit it, face it. If you're tired, say it. Those are your emotions. Don't allow anybody to snatch your emotions from you. Pretending to be okay when you're not keeps you from healing. Emotional honesty does not make you weak, it makes you authentic. Number three, respond, don't react. A lot of people respond, a lot of people react because they don't know how to adjust their emotions and keep their emotions intact. So reactions are impulsive, responses are intentional, and we all want to be intentional with our emotions, right? Because when we react, we can lose jobs, we can lose loves, we can lose careers when we react with our emotions. So it's important to be responsive and take a beat before you speak. All right. So before you speak, just like I said, take a beat, take a pause, and let the emotion settle. And ask yourself, will my response reflect my healing, or will my response reflect my hurt? That's what you have to ask yourself, because it's okay not to be okay. And you have to be honest with that emotion and honest with that feeling. And there's nothing wrong with being honest about that feeling. It's nothing wrong with being honest about that emotion. You definitely don't want to lie to yourself, right? So ask yourself again, will this response reflect my healing or my hurt? What you can do is take 10 deep breaths before addressing an emotional conflict. Write it down before saying it. Pray before an respond to an emotional text. Number four, keep emotional boundaries in place. That's what we were doing. We talked about that. If you're watching live or the playback, everything is listed there. I'm recapping now as we wind down this masterclass on healing that emotion, being honest with your emotion and how to keep it intact. You're responsible for your emotions, not everybody else is. Everybody else is not responsible for your emotion. It's okay to set limits. Number five, you're going to filter your feelings through faith. Ask God to help you see situations through truth and not temporary emotion. Emotions shift, but God stands firm. All right. Number 6, heal before you feel again. Many emotional outbursts come from unhealed pain, right? My book, excuse me, or Unhealed is showing, I'm talking about this. When you have an outburst and you pop off and go off on somebody, it's not about the other person, it's about the person's unhealed pain. We're going to take time to unpack old wounds so they don't control current reactions. Sometimes old wounds drive the current reactions. Number 7, be consistent emotional check-ins with yourselves. Ask yourself daily, how am I feeling and why am I feeling this? Build habits, y'all, on self-reflection, prayer, peace practices, whatever you have to do. Number 8 on the recap is, remember, emotional honesty is a form of love. When you are honest about your emotions, you love yourself and others better. That's what we're talking about here. You're keeping your emotions honest and intact. This is a masterclass, y'all. I'm going to tell you, you're going to free yourself today. I need you to send this out to whoever needs to hear this, because so many people lead with their emotions. I was a person who did that. And I had to learn and heal to respond and not react, to make sure my emotions are my problem, my issue, my beauty, my concern. They're mine. So I have a responsibility to myself on how I respond with my emotions and not just react. Because you can lose a job, you can lose a marriage, you can lose a friendship, you can be estranged by your family just by popping off and not having self control when it comes to your emotions. It's important to do that. Trust me, I know. And that's why I teach it. And that's why this is a master class. Yes, I have the degrees, the education, life coach. Yeah, yeah. But I also have personal experience, right? And that oftentimes is the greatest teacher. So as we wind down, I just want to say, let me first, I want to say this: be honest with yourself. Sometimes the hardest person to be honest with is yourself. Emotional integrity keeps your heart pure and your mind stable. You want to be able to have emotional maintenance with yourself. All right. So, all right. This was good. This was good. So, as we end and conclude, I just want to say, keeping your emotions honest and intact doesn't mean that you're never going to get upset. You're never going to be sad. You're never going to be frustrated. You're going to be all the things, right? All the things, because you're a human being. It means that you don't lose your emotion or let your emotions define or derail you. You are allowed to feel deeply. I'm a deep feeler, right? But you still respond wisely. So it's not about shutting your emotions off, being emotional unavailable, because sometimes people who are emotional unavailable, they're just not ready to deal with their emotions, right? They're not in a space that they're honest with their emotions. They're the people to be like, yeah, I'm good, everything's okay, when they're the ones crumbling on the inside. So it's important for you to not allow your emotions to derail you. It doesn't mean cut it off and be a robot and be like, hi, what's your name? My name is Kendéll. No, you still want to be able to do that. You have to learn to control it, right? And the earlier in life you learn this, the better your life will be, and the more healed and the quicker you will begin to heal. Right? It's never too late to remix your life at any stage, age, or phase. But I wish I knew what I know now when I was 20 or 30, right? So you have to be able to do that. You are allowed to feel deeply, but make sure you respond wisely. Emotional honesty invites healing. Emotional control invites peace. And we all want peace in our lives, right? That's so very important. So I want y'all to be better. I want y'all to grow. I want y'all to be emotionally intelligent and emotionally stable. All right. Any questions? All right. So it's never too late to remix your life at any stage, age, or phase. So this is what I want y'all to do. I want you to feel it, face it, but don't let them run you. Let your emotions speak truth, not chaos. All right, y'all. I love y'all and I want y'all to grow. Remember, it's never too late to remix your life, even in this emotional space that you are in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me see. One last one. If you're not careful, lose your emotion, you will lose your peace of mind. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep loving. You are a star. Don't allow anybody to dim your shine. It's never too late to begin again. God bless y'all. Peace. Love you too. Let me know what y'all want me to talk about on the next masterclass.